All right, guys. I have a new camera. You could probably tell the difference. So for this section of chapter 8, we're looking at target account creation and provisioning and deprovisioning. This is very important if you want to be a system administrator with any small tech company or just a startup. That way you could allow your employees to have access and least privilege and put up some boundaries so they won't step over they won't have privilege creep, which will allow them to commit actions that you don't want them to do. Say create new accounts, have too much I guess I would say privileges on accounting financials. So here are the basics. Um, okay. So the steps from account request creation, provisioning accounts, and maintenance during the life cycle of the account, and eventual deprovisioning deletion account. That's what we'll be talking about today. It's weird life cycle may last from depending on how long the employee works with that company. It could be a matter of like 3 months or a couple of years. I knew some coworkers who only worked for like 2 months. Um, I guess they couldn't handle stress. I couldn't either. I can't say that. I had everything under control, even though it seemed like it. So both internal and external threats target the system services and procedures that make up the account lifecycle in order to gain access to accounts or to gain privileges from the accounts that they already have access to. The account creation process, an important target for attackers who have either gained access to systems in trusted environments or are able to use social engineering attacks to persuade someone with appropriate rights to create an account for them. Internal threats may also seek to create accounts for their use to avoid detection. Finally, the light came on. That would be much better if you eliminate those threats. Don't want a random person to start creating accounts. But even if they don't have that access yet, they can use social engineering. It's where they could talk up one of the employees impersonating someone else. Um, have a sense of urgency where you must give them your password information just so they could get their job done. Or they kind of tell you a story. And usually when they tell a story and have a sense of urgency, it creates this feeling that you need to help them. But again, policy rules, every organization. So if you break one of those policies, you might be fired. So attackers also may focus on accounts that have fallen through the cracks in identity management system. These could be unused accounts which attackers can compromise and use without the owner noticing something is amiss. Accounts that were not properly deprovisioned and account abandoned on systems because they were missed during normal account removal and end of life processes. Accounts that are not properly deleted can often indicate issue with management of the system and may not be logged or monitored. Permissions group member attackers, particular inside threats, may be able to leverage rights that they or others have occurred over time without knowing that they still have them. So this is kind of just the basics. It doesn't really get really technical, like with actually putting into practice. I guess that's the end of the chapter where they have some lab exercises that, excuse me, you could use. Rights and roles. So maintaining rights and roles, group memberships is another key element in identity management and an important feature in identity management systems. User accounts are normally managed use the principle of least privilege, which states that users should be provided only with the least set of privileges and permissions required to perform their function. This helps prevent users or attackers who acquire their credentials from performing actions that they should not and limits the exposure that they can cause. Many accounts experience privilege creep or the steady accrual of additional rights over time as account owners change roles, positions, and responsibilities. I guess I can see this with people getting moved to different teams. They might, I guess I have like a real life story for this because the organization I was at did, um, they did their best, but there was still a form of privilege creep when I was working for them. So at the time, I believe I got moved from one cloud service called Data Factory and other sets of extract, transform, and load data systems. But basically, I had access to their logs. And so when I got moved to a new team, I also was get access to another set of logs and not those. And so it took some time. And so when I saw some of the cases I was giving for customer cases, some of them dealt with Azure Data Factory. And so this will allow me to use the logs that I had access to help. Now, in my case, it actually benefited the company as a whole for me to have them, but it was against policy. And I think I had them for like maybe like 2 weeks, three. It was a long time that I had them for. But yeah, they didn't have good least privilege policy. So privilege creep directly conflicts with the concept of least privilege since accounts should not have access, should not have rights that aren't required for their current role. Fortunately, this can be hard to track. New managers may not be aware of users' old rights, or user may even be asked to continue to perform their old duties on occasion. Fortunately, centralized identity management suites providing monitoring and privilege management tools designed to monitor for privilege keeps can be set to identify accounts that end up with excessive privileges or whichever privileges beyond what their role requires. These systems could be Centrify, OKTA, SailPoint, Ping Identity, and have account life cycle maintenance and monitoring features designed to fight this type of issue. I believe my company used SailPoint, or I guess Microsoft uses SailPoint. I don't know if I should have said that, but I don't think it's really going to matter. All right, so new subheader. I think we're already at a couple of minutes with this video. We did talk about target account creation, provisioning, and we didn't talk about deprovisioning. Let's see. Okay, so I think that'll be it for this video. I feel like if I got more, I'll open up another can of worms. The next one would be preventing common exploits of identity and authorization.